Hello, I'm Katasar, and today I'm going to be explaining Bumper Carnage, which is the first minigame in the any percent run of this game. So let's get right into it. This minigame is the first one in the run, obviously, but it's easily the most RNG heavy. So this minigame is basically bumper cars, of course, but I'll explain. So once you get in here, you'll notice that you have 3 lights. See a red light, a yellow light, and a green light. Once you take damage, you lose a light. If you hit another car in the back or the side, you gain a light back. Now, not only can you do this, but the AI bumper cars can do this as well. Which is why this is super RNG heavy, and a lot of runs die here. This is hands down the most reset heavy minigame in the entire run, and it's right at the start. I'm gonna reset this. So, even though this minigame is heavily RNG based, the way the AI bumper cars start is always the same. Like, for example, watch this. See that skull car and that clown car? They will always hit when you start out a run. Now watch this. See this clown car right here that passes us? That clown car will always pass us when we start a run. Now let's look to the right. The skull car and this shark car over here will always go that way. So the way the cars start is always the same, which is one of the few things that you can rely on in this minigame. The rest is all RNG and basically luck, and how can you adapt to the RNG that the game gives you. But again, one of the few things you can control here is how you start, and how the AI starts is always the same. There's a few different setups to approaching this, and I'm going to be explaining this, how you set up Bumper Carnage. Because how you set up Bumper Carnage can change the way that the rest of the minigame goes. So that's the setup that I've used the most. It's going immediately right and hitting that skull car. Now there's a few variations of this. Once you hit the skull car, there's a few different options. I'm going to show the first one. So we hit the skull car, and then we turn left and hit the shark car. And then from there, it's basically RNG. Another variation of this is to hit the skull car, and then turn and hit the skull car again, and then hit the clown car, or finish off the skull car if you can. Another variation is to hit the skull car and then bounce back like this, hit him again, and then focus on this clown car. And then from there, it's basically RNG on what happens. Now, there is one more setup that I don't use that often, but it's waiting here, backing up and hitting that clown car first, and trying to eliminate this clown car first. Like that. There's a few other ways you can approach this, but they don't work out very well. Like hitting the skull car there. I guess it does kind of work out, but I don't suggest that setup. It doesn't work very consistently. So now that the setups are out of the way, the rest of the minigame is pretty much RNG, which is why this is so reset heavy. So I'm going to be explaining how the RNG in this game can work most of the time, or like how the AI responds to what you do in this minigame. So let's say you have to hit the cars in the back or the sides to destroy them. And see, sometimes they turn like that. You want to hit them when they turn. Or when another car interacts with them, they either want to chase you, or they want to, like, turn or focus on another car. That's how they respond. That was probably poorly explained, but, like, they can sometimes either chase you like that, or they can focus on another car. Or they can, yeah, like, turn like that, out of the way. And once you get a car down to just one light like that, you want to focus on that car, because you don't want that car getting more lights and losing you time. You don't want that. In situations like this, There's one car left, and it can be pretty annoying to eliminate the final car. You can do this forever and lose a ton of time. There's a few ways you can approach this. You can try and angle it differently and wait for him to turn. That sometimes works, but something I've found is just going in reverse and waiting him to drive away. At the top level, if that happens to me in a run, I usually just reset. It's not worth wasting my time just sitting there waiting for the final AI bumper car to eliminate the final bumper car. So now I'm going to just do a quick run through and see what RNG we get. We're going to use this setup and try and eliminate the clown car. We didn't get him there, but we probably will soon. Now, I said to focus on some of the ones with the one light left, but in that situation it was better just to go on to another car instead of wasting time trying to eliminate it. And he still has one light, so we got two of them right there. Get that one. Now there should be one car left. Yes. We're trying to eliminate this guy as fast as we can without him driving away like that. He turns, and boom. A minute 15 left on the clock. That's pretty average at the top level. If you're going for an average time, I'd suggest resetting if it takes any longer than the pit opening up. So if you can't get the gold faster than 30 seconds left on the clock, I'd reset. If you want a good bumper carnage, like a solid bumper carnage, I'd reset if anything slower than a minute left on the clock. So if you can't get the gold before a minute left on the clock, I'd reset. If you're going for top level strats, you want to get like a minute 15, a minute 20, or faster left on the clock, which is right. This is super reset heavy, especially at the higher level, because you want the perfect RNG almost every time. Of course, you don't always get the perfect RNG, but what I'm saying is you want good RNG here. It's the first minigame in the run, so it's worth resetting here, even though resetting here is very annoying. It's only the first game in the run, so you aren't losing anything, but if you just want to get a run going, just get an okay bumper carnage. The time save isn't that big of a deal unless you're going for a super good time. But of course, if you want to, save as much time as possible, it's worth resetting here. I think that's pretty much it. I think that's I think that's it. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to ask in the Discord. I'm going to be linking that in the description, as well as the playlist to the rest of the videos in this guide that me and Casey will be doing. And yeah, that's the guide for Bumper Carnage.